listening to Simply Portuguese podcast. Lots of tricks and techniques to help you learn Portuguese at www.simplyportuguese.com. Today we're going to address the 5 reasons why it is easy to learn Portuguese. Did you know that you can be speaking fluent Portuguese in about 6 months from today? And yes, I actually do know people who learn to speak fluent Portuguese in less time than that. But how about all of your friends and coworkers and acquaintances who told you that, they actually tried to learn Portuguese or Spanish or French or whatever, but just couldn't take it anymore because it was just too hard? Those are people you actually know, right? So they have credibility, they like you, they're trying to help you, and they wouldn't steer you in the wrong direction, right? Well, sorry to be so blunt, but people like that only have credibility once it comes to being quitters. And you should actually be mad at them for steering you into the wrong direction. Do you remember when you were bald and toothless and couldn't even count to 10? Well, maybe not, but I'm sure your parents do remember. You actually learned to speak English, learned math, learned to crawl, to walk, get dressed, and so many other things. All of that while your brain only had a fraction of the size it has today. The truth is that by simply listening to this, you're already automatically part of Group A, which are the people who will succeed because they have the right attitude and the right tools to achieve their goals. And hopefully, one day, you also have the opportunity to convert all disbelievers and be proud to not only have unquestionable credibility in language learning, but also be able to steer all your loved ones into the right direction. Here are some of the biggest misconceptions that I'm about to clear up and some facts on why learning Portuguese is easy. Here we go. Number 1, the biggest thing stopping you is yourself. This is something which really applies to anything in life. Self-defeat will defeat you. There is just no escape. I know it sounds oversimplistic, but the best and most likely person to defeat you is yourself. Have you ever heard of that young man who won like an Olympic gold medal by sitting on his couch eating Doritos and telling himself that he could never run fast enough to compete? Not really, right? That kid lost the race before he even started to run it. He lost it so bad that he didn't even compete and failed. He allowed his subconscious to tell his brain that it wasn't even worth getting up from the couch to compete. So once you stop giving excuses on why Portuguese is so hard or impossible to learn, you actually remove the veil of ignorance you placed on your own eyes and start seeing how easy it actually is. Number 2. Brazilians are some of the most welcoming, friendly people you'll ever meet. I know this is very biased coming from me, since I'm Brazilian, but bear with me because I actually have reasons and credentials to say that. As of today, I have traveled to 32 different countries and experienced so many different cultures and subcultures that I can't even remember all of them. Like Bavarians being different from Northern Germans, or New Yorkers being different from Louisiana Cajuns, and so on. I will obviously not generalize because I know there are a lot of bad people in Brazil, just like in any other country. But when you put the bad people aside, the normal Brazilian folks are just so happy and friendly that it's contagious. Okay, but what is the relation between Brazilians being friendly and me learning Portuguese, right? Well, once you learn that one of the most effective ways to learn a new language is by not being shy and just speaking up, you'll notice that any mistake you make in Portuguese will be greeted by a prompt and helpful correction. People are just happy that you're learning Portuguese, and they will go out of their way to help you. Brazilians are just a warm group of people who greet even strangers with hugs, kisses, and handshakes. They are people who donate money when they don't have enough for themselves, and who always have room for 1, 2, or 5 more people at their dinner table. So, one thing that I have to ask you is to please email me your travel diaries from when you go to Brazil. I'll love to publish them on my blog. Okay, number 3. you don't actually have to learn all the 43 different ways to conjugate a verb in Portuguese. Well, there aren't really 43 ways to conjugate a verb in Portuguese, but yes, it is a two-digit number. The good thing is that you don't actually have to memorize them or especially remember their names. I don't even remember their names. First, you will learn that you will only use a handful of those conjugations. Why would you have to learn the pretérito mais que perfeito conjugation when barely anyone uses it? Okay, there might be 2 or 3 poets or lunatics out of the 240 million Portuguese speakers who actually use it. Okay, and second, for the conjugations you will actually have to learn, you will see that there are very easy formulas to follow. So once you learn it for one verb, you learn for all verbs. Number 4, words which give genders are actually very intuitive. And thank the Lord for that. I can't even start to count how much time I've wasted explaining whether I was referring to a male friend or a female friend or to a male cousin or a female cousin. What is more confusing and wasteful? You tell me. To say minha amiga and know that you're talking about a female friend, or to say my friend and then have to specify, well, my friend Taylor. Well, that doesn't clarify it either. So how about my female friend Taylor? So you see where this is going. And number 5, you already know a lot of words in Portuguese. That's right. You just don't know that you know them yet. Portuguese and English share a lot of words which are derived from Latin, French, Greek, and Portuguese even has some words derived or literally adopted from English. Try to assume what these words mean when I read them to you. Sanduíche, assistente, animal, profissional, típico, político, cliente, projeto, and the list goes on. Well, if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell all of your friends about it on Facebook and Twitter, and remind them that a lot of the things that I describe here don't only apply to learning Portuguese, but to learning other languages as well. Thank you very much. Until the next time.